Hello everybody and welcome to this video in the BK Course Guides series. This series is aimed at those playing tour play in the game of Golf Clash. If you are stepping up to a new tour completely or having to learn a new course as a result of course rotation in the game. We are going to be providing overviews of all 9 holes of the Nordic Fjords, which is a course I know well and I really enjoy playing. Some easy holes, but also some tricky moments to deal with as well. I'll be putting on general routes and elevations for all of the holes regardless of the tees that we're playing from, and also giving you my tips of tour play strategy with these holes and relating to the shootouts how close I feel you need to be to the pin to secure the win. Obviously we don't have time to give you specific spin adjustments for every tee and for every single wind direction, but I do hope that the general ideas of routes, elevations and strategy will help you in navigating your way around these holes. We'll be starting with the par 4s, going on to the par 5s and then finishing with the shootouts, and timestamps can be found in the video description down below. Before we get started, if you are new here, please do subscribe to the channel, and I greatly appreciate it if you are enjoying the content to hit thumbs up on the video. Alright then, let's begin with the par 4s. Now, side spin and curl are going to be very important here for the white line, particularly on this par 4. You will see a lot of eagles dropped on this one. This is one of the easier holes that we have in this course. Usually, if we do get any form of tailwind, even some crosswind, the white line is the one to take regardless of tee box, bouncing on the island with plenty of topspin, a couple of bars of right spin and also some right curl to utilise that topspin and get you as close to the fringe as you can. Obviously the more topspin you have and the more curl, that will help you out as well, but if not you can go with less topspin, which will leave you a short iron shot rather than a wedge or a putt. 10% extra is the adjustment here. If you have obviously a lot of tailwind and you're playing particularly from second and third tee, you can of course go directly over there, which is the blue line. You will, in most cases, not need much topspin at all and may, in strong tailwinds, need some backspin to steady the ball up onto the green area. But definitely from second tee and third tee, if you get tailwind here, you are going to need to get the eagle. Black line is one I've played a lot from front tee and also second tee as well, and that is used for me if we get headwind, and that is bouncing over from the end of that first piece of fairway where the red cross is, using some topspin and a little bit of right spin and going up onto the second piece of fairway. What you can't see here, towards the tip of that first black arrow, the fairway does slope down, so you're going into an uphill area. It will curl down nicely. You can't really go too long on this shot. From there you're going to have a sniper, wood club, or if you're lucky you may get to within long iron range if you get a good roll down. 10% on the drive that route, 10% second shot. It's worth mentioning on the green here, if you don't fancy the wedge if you are close, or even if you're playing from the black line, there is a very nice funnel on the right hand side of the green as we look. Definitely if you are playing the black line, I would try and find this funnel. I've dropped a long eagle going this route several times, but if you don't fancy going for the wedge directly, which does play considerably downhill if you are left hand side of the green, then you can shoot to the funnel. So just aim up onto the back of the green on the right hand side of the diagram as we look, and you'll find there, if you've got a good ball guide, very nice funnel down to the pin. But you're going to see lots of eagles on this par 4. Now, in complete contrast, you're going now to a par 4 when you're not going to see many eagles on this one at all, to be honest. It's long and also fairly awkward. The white line I will play in any form of headwind from any of the tees, and that is bouncing over with as much topspin as you have, playing it 10% extra. Be careful, you may need to drop down into the stream there, in which case you might want to push up a ring or go with a little bit of overpower. But either way, we want to bounce over to that middle strip of fairway and run nicely between the bunker and the rough on the right. 10% on the drive, and that will leave at least a 10% second shot. If you do have strong wind, then I would actually play this one 20% on the white line. That is going to be a long iron shot, so obviously if you do have the option to play with a long iron with good ball guide, then that is the way to go. If your drive does go short, obviously you're going to be playing with wood club. Black line here, if you do get tailwind, I will be playing this route even if it's just a hint of tailwind. It's much easier with wind from left to right than the other way, because you do want to use right spin and right curl to bounce on the middle piece of fairway where the red cross is, and use that top spin and curl to get to the right hand side of that island of rough on the final piece of fairway. If you have more curl, obviously this is a lot easier, but a lot of the time here you are going to be driving and probably will catch that rough in the middle of the fairway. So it is a little bit of a technical drive, but I think in tailwind you do have to go aggressively on this hole, because if it works out well, you're going to have a short iron to the pin. The white cross there, just tucked in on the final piece of fairway at the beginning, is if you have a very strong tailwind, again from second and third tee only, really, and just drive directly over there with some topspin and try and reach the green in 2. But it is a tricky one. You've got to judge the curl and the side spin right. If you are going that route, of course, you need a minimum power 3 ball. So tricky par 4, you're not going to see many eagles, but if you can go aggressive on the drive, I think it's worth the risk. The final par 4 really is one that you will need to be getting an eagle on, if at all possible. You're going to see a lot of people making eagle on this one, but you're also going to see a lot of people finding the fairway bunker, so we need to be prepared for that. 10% on the drive on the black line, and if we do get headwind, I lay up here and I go with a couple of bar of topspin and go to the top right corner of that first piece of fairway. From there, you've got a 0% second shot. I will be playing that with max distance of the short iron if we have tailwind, or minimum distance long iron if we have headwind or crosswind. Obviously, if the wind is stronger, then you may want to up the elevation on the second shot to plus 10. The white line is the more aggressive route, and 9 times out of 10, really, we are going to be wanting to play that line. 10% on the drive, however, if we are bouncing over with tailwind, I would suggest that you estimate 20% elevation in straight tailwind, just to account for the extra wind push, as you do not want to be catching the rough directly, otherwise you will most likely bounce into the water. But the key here is to apply a couple of bars of left spin, plenty of top spin, and to bounce once on the fairway, and then either clear that fairway bunker directly with the second bounce, or go with a double bounce and have the second bounce before the bunker. What I would do here though is look at the position of your second bounce carefully and estimate the wind push that you will get between the first and the second bounce, because that is going to be key to clearing that fairway bunker. Either way, use the top spin you have and probably some left curl as well to roll as close to the green fringe area as you can to get your eagle. If you do want to go with power 3 balls, you can try that route in headwind as well, but obviously you will need to estimate the wind effect and most likely apply overpower to have a chance of getting over there. There's one final route which I will mention. It is along the black lines, but it's going for green, and this was a route that came up in tournaments in Pro and Expert, and that was playing with 6 bars of topspin, bouncing where the tip of that first black arrow is, and then just going with that very nice line between the left edge of the bunker and the rough on the left, using the topspin to thread the needle through to the green. That is an option as well, and might be quite a nice option, especially if you have left to right wind, where the white line would need you, of course, to use a lot more curl. But either way, your aim should be an eagle on this par 4. Now we're going to look at the par 5s, and this one is a tricky one. Once again, you are going to see quite a few players going into the water on this hole. From the front tee, you've got 2 choices really. You can reach over to the right hand little piece of fairway where the red cross is. That will be needing a power 3 ball. If you've got the extra mile and a power 3, you can go directly over there, and obviously you need to steady it with a little bit of backspin so you don't roll too far. So that's your first option, but it will need a perfect ball. Great left or great right will danger the rough or the water. The other option really from front tee is the black line, and that's just playing straight forward on the left. The problem here though is that you are going to need a wood club with distance to get you to the green, so you've got to work out really whether you want to risk that and play with a slightly less accurate wood club for the shootout, or whether you want to go aggressively. Obviously, if you do go aggressively on the right, you've got a much easier second shot. 10% on the drive, 0% on the approach. Second and third tee, you are going to almost all the time be playing on the white line, because you will have a driver with curl, i.e. the Apocalypse really is the best thing here. If you want to use the rock though, if you do get tailwind, then you can use the rock here, which has a very, very similar amount of curl. I will be playing with between 3 and 4.5 bars of topspin, bouncing over where the blue crosses with all the right spin possible and a good amount of right curl. Leave room for the curl though. If you do have tailwind or wind from left to right, make sure you add an extra ring or two to your landing position, because it is very easy to clip the rough directly because the curl will push your landing position to the right. If we do have a nasty wind angle, the yellow line there is one I was playing a lot from second tee with a driver with backspin. For example, the Thor's Hammer is very good. Put plenty of backspin on and just aim to get as close as you can to the top of that middle piece of fairway where that yellow arrow is. You are playing wind lottery here though, and if you do get strong headwind, you may have to use a lot of overpower to try and get near the green. But it's a much safer shot if you don't fancy the curl shot. Like I said, second and third tee, the Apocalypse really is a must here, even if you have it in low level. I will be attempting the white route all day and every day. I would suggest a minimum power 2 ball, like Katana is good for the right spin, but a Titan is also good. Obviously, if you only have 2 bars of right spin, then go with a bit more curl on the drive. We have some tricky moments to deal with in this par 5 as well, and mostly I will be playing the white line because it is a much easier second shot to the pin, even though the drive is a little more technical. If we get very strong headwind, I would probably go the black line, but let's have a look at the left side first. Any tailwind, any crosswind, even if it's crosswind with a hint of headwind, I would be going here. And that is bouncing where the blue cross is with a little bit of top spin, 2 bars side spin to the left and a little bit of left curl as well, especially if you are playing with a side spin 1 ball like a Navigator, then go with more curl. 10% extra, and we want to bounce over the fairway bunker and stop just before the end of the fairway. That will leave you a wood club to the green. I've put 0% as the general elevation here, but from higher tours where you've got more wind to deal with, you could also play 5 or 10%, especially in crosswind. Thing with the second shot is you do not want to be coming in too hot because you can catch a glitch roll here with a load of topspin, which will send you flying into the rough on the back of the green. So I would rather go slightly short rather than long and leave yourself an easy wedge or a putt for the eagle. If you do have headwind, then the black line is going to be, I think, a safer route if you don't fancy going with copious amounts of overpower. The problem playing with headwind on the white line is that the wind will compress the second bounce quite considerably, and you will most likely end up clipping or plugging into the fairway bunker if you don't adjust properly. So if you don't want to use the overpower, then definitely go with a power 3 ball, play on the right hand side, max top spin, max side spin to the left and some left curl, and try and get yourself to the top left corner of that piece of fairway. You are going to have to most likely overpower your second shot unless you want to go with a wood club with distance here. Again, you've got to just judge that yourself depending what shootouts are in the tour that you're playing. But it is uphill, so you will need some topspin. Just try and avoid the rough on the right as well as the rough and the sand on the left, and get yourself near to wedge distance if you can. So the choices are there for you. Obviously, if you do get a huge amount of tailwind from second and third tee, you can go aggressive and send it if you like, but it is a risky shot in my opinion and doesn't really give you that much of a better chance for an albatross than playing safe. So I would just play fairway golf and get yourself to the shootout. Final par 5, and once again a power 3 ball would be my recommendation here regardless of the division. This is due to the distance that we have to cover. Okay, if you do get a load of tailwind, you can reduce to a power 1 ball if you like, but you are in a sense playing wind lottery for the second shot, and you may have to go with overpower if you do get dealt some headwind. 10% on the drive, and even in direct headwind I will be going left side, to be honest. The fairway is a little bit narrow in the middle, so if you are playing overpower with max topspin, be careful because heavy great left or great right will most likely end you in the rough, and you will have a very, very difficult shot to get near to the green into. But either way, we're playing with as much topspin as we can. 1 bar of right spin is my recommendation here, because you do want to get slightly to the right of the fairway to leave yourself a shorter second shot. Wood club, if your drive goes well, you're going to either be bouncing directly over the rough with a a little bit of backspin to steady it, or you're going to bounce over just to the left where the 0% marker is with top spin, right spin and right curl. Just get to the green in 2. You're not going to see many albatrosses here at all, to be honest. Very similar to the other par 5s in the Nordic fjords. You just need to play sensibly and either take it to shootout, or if your opponent goes wrong, then capitalise on the mistake and take the outright win. White line is an option. I really don't play this one very often at all, but I do want to throw it on there just for, you know, to let you know really that it is an option. Obviously you will need to once again go with top spin, but you're going to have a very long wood club shot there. It is, as you can see from the diagram, slightly more distance to the green, but the choice is yours. For me, it's left side in all winds. And now we're going to look at the shootouts, and this one for me, I used to call this the ski slope shootout because it is massively downhill slope to the green. 20% is the general elevation, and I actually find this easier from second and third tee than I do from front tee. And the reason is because in rookie division we have a choice to make. Either we play before the bunker there where the blue crosses with our long iron, or we have to play kind of just where the plus 20 is there, midway down the slope with a wood club, and it's just hard to control the speed there. So you just got to make that decision whichever you feel more comfortable with, depending on what clubs you're using as well as what the wind's doing. Pro and expert, obviously, middle tee, this is going to be the sniper all day every day. We used to play this to the left of the bunker on the right of the fairway, but we get so many glitch rolls there. Everybody now plays this where it's marked on the diagram. Top left of the white ring, touching the rough, and you're going to need between 2 and 3.5, maybe 4 bars of top spin and a little bit of side spin as well. Playing 20% elevation, this should reduce the chance of catching the glitch roll down to very, very low percentages indeed, to be honest. In fact, I think this is a very, very safe way to play. If you do have the Thor's hammer, obviously from middle tee and definitely third tee, you can play max backspin near the green as well, but I would from second tee be playing with the sniper all day and every day. Third tee, obviously this is going to be with our driver. You can of course bounce on the same spot as well, and we have had some money shots from third tee in Master Division in tournaments as well. The green does obviously slope down towards the pin. I wouldn't call it a true funnel here, but it's all about getting the line right and the speed. Like I say, we do need to just reduce the glitch roll potential as much as possible, which is why we choose the route we've got on the screen. In terms of winning the shootout, you are going to see a fair amount of hole-in-ones on this one, so I would aim really to be in with a good chance. You need to be within, I would say, 1.5 yards, even within 1 yard of the pin. This is by far the easiest out of the shootouts in the Nordic fjords. This one I call the rollback shootout, and that is because the top right of the green has a very nice slope back down to the pin, and we really only ever go for this shot. I've never seen people in all of my years of playing tour play actually attack the pin directly. 20% extra is the general rule here, and the white line is great apart from if you've got wind from right to left. Obviously he's using more curl there, so in that case I'd go with the black line. But either way, we're going to bounce over. If we're looking at the white line, you're going to be wanting either top spin or back spin. Not a great amount of either one, to be honest, but we do need a little bit of right spin as well and some right curl. And we want to use that curl to get to the top right of the green and for the ball to roll down to the pin. Yes, it is a bit of a lottery shot here. You need to reduce the random rollout though by getting a good point on that slope. If you are too far to the left, there is a mini ledge where the ball will get stuck and will just stay about 8 or 9 yards away. And obviously if you go with too much topspin, you're going to get stuck on the fringe. So it's all about getting the pace right and the curl. If you do get a really good roll back, and that will come from getting as far to the fringe as you can, obviously without risking the fringe, then you will be within 1.5 yards. And that for me is a very good benchmark to be. If you're within 2 yards, you've still got a chance. However, like I say, if your opponent gets a better roll and gets within 1.5, 1.2, then you may well lose the shootout. So if you can get within 1.5 yards, it's very, very good. The black line will need backspin and a little bit of left spin, and obviously you'll be wanting to bounce above the pin but to the right, and once again catching the slope. You're probably not going to get as nice a roll there, so that is all wind dependent, to be honest. Tailwind right to left, crosswind right to left, you're going to be wanting to play on the right hand side, but if not, go left. People do play a rough bump in tournaments, but the adjustment is very, very difficult here because you'll either be adjusting down into the ravine or up onto one of the islands. So for tour play, I would never be playing the rough bump here. It'll be bounce over and hopefully get a good roll if you can. And finally onto this shootout, and just as a disclaimer, yes, there is a sand bump here. Do I recommend it for tour play? Absolutely not. It's very risky and you're probably not going to have the club to play it anyway. So be sensible, try and get within 3 yards. Here is my goal. If we do have headwind, and from second tee, obviously the sniper shot with the yellow arrow is very good. Playing with 4 to 5 bar backspin and playing that one, obviously 30% elevation, and we want to backspin down from the back left of the green. But most tees, definitely for rookies, are going to be playing the bounce over here on the white line with our long iron, and that will be the same in tailwind from second and third tee as well. You will need some backspin and some right spin and a little bit of curl as well, but you don't want to go with too much, otherwise you will clip the rough. So this is all about getting the spin and the curl correct on this shot. General elevation 20%. If we do have wind coming from right to left and tailwind, I will be going on the black line with backspin and then going directly at the pin from the right. Obviously we'll need a little bit of left spin here to help the ball get to the pin. It is a tricky shootout, this one, and one that I would recommend making some good notes on to try and get dialed in. Obviously, if you are playing from third tee, this is going to be the driver in most cases, but you can also make the shot with a sniper if you do have tailwind as well. A very, very good opportunity, actually, from third tee with the sniper. If not, you're going to be playing with your driver, either directly with backspin or bouncing over. The choice is yours on this shootout. But my goal, as I say, is within 3 yards. Thank you very much for watching this course guide video. If you have found it useful, please do share amongst your friends in the game, and don't forget to check out the rest of the course guides in the playlist. If you do have any questions whatsoever, please do join us on Facebook in our group BK Golf Clash. We have thousands of members there. Link is in the video description down below. Friendly place where players of the game of all skill levels can interact, help each other out and ask questions. So you can ask away there. No question will be considered too trivial. Wonderful people there will be happy to help out. Thank you once again for watching. See you all very soon. Bye for now.